discuss these stories further, we welcome in Stuart Kaplan, a former FBI special agent and an attorney. Good morning, sir. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning. Always good to be with you.
Let's take Kohberger first. There is some conjecture, and it is conjecture at this point, that he had some serious mental issues. We know he suffered a heroin addiction that he had to go to rehab for. He's also being accused of being an incel at some point. And then there's the criminal justice aspect, where he might have been studying these cases and wondering if he could do it for himself. What do you think makes the most sense here? And we are just speculating. I should posit that first.
I think given the brutality of the way these murders were carried out, this is an individual certainly that has obviously some mental health issues. But I think this was more of a signal of dominance or control and revenge. I think the evidence is going to play out that at some point he crossed paths with at least one of the victims, and his interpretation or perception was rejection. He was not someone who could accept rejection, because in his mind he was a controlling individual. And I think the fact that there is more than ample evidence to suggest and prove that he surveilled this home for quite some time, that in carrying out these murders, this was a revenge type of killing.
And we did hear from some of his former classmates, those in the program with him at Washington State, that he was perhaps a little bit harsher toward female students and some of his female colleagues as far as what their theories were on certain crimes and things of that nature. I wonder, though, there's still no murder weapon in this case. The police, according to their affidavit of probable cause, said that they found the knife sheath and that there was DNA there, but no knife yet. How big of a problem is that for prosecutors in this case?
I don't think it's going to be a problem that in any way is going to derail the ultimate success of this prosecution. If you recall, the sheath or the holster that would have secured the knife was left behind. It is reported that his DNA is on that. I think there's more than ample, and I would call it more circumstantial evidence, given also the eyewitness who survived. I think the evidence is overwhelming to convict Kohberger. I think the fact that this knife may not ever be recovered may be of zero consequence to the overall success of this prosecution. But I also will tell you that now that they have basically most of the pieces of the puzzle, there is an effort to go back and backtrack and try to recover video surveillance of those type of stores or online purchases that may have been made. And again, this does take some time. They're probably sifting through his financial records, as well as going back to certain stores to see if, in fact, they can pick up him purchasing this type of murder weapon.
And my last question about Kohberger is, again, we don't know the motive, and this is just speculation, but there is a theory out there that he was in this criminal justice program. He studied a serial killer, at least one. We know the BTK killer. Have you ever run across a case where somebody was sort of inside this criminal justice world, this true crime world, and wanted to see if they could do it themselves and get away with it? Has there ever been a case like that, whether that you've defended or investigated or just heard about or studied when you were in the FBI?
Well, certainly in my tenure with the FBI, ironically, you find these type of individuals who carry out these type of horrendous acts, or even these type of serial killers. To a large extent, they're on the genius spectrum, meaning these are highly functioning, highly intelligent individuals. The scary part and the dangerous part is they live amongst us and they blend so well in. And just for your viewers, the motive, while we're curious to really understand and peel back those layers of the onion to try to get into his mindset, keep in mind, motive is not one of the elements that has to be proven in court. It does not matter what his motive is. Obviously, we would like to know. I think the parents would like to know, the victims, the loved ones, we would like to know. But just to make it succinct and for your audience to understand that even though the prosecution team may never know ultimately what his true motive